Hi, good morning. Hope all of you are fine. In the last class, we have discussed about spaces, dual spaces and double dual, etc. Okay. Today we are going to discuss some remarks about dual spaces. Okay. The first remark says that let X be a normed space and X star be its dual. Okay. Then we consider dual of that X star. X star star is the dual of X star, and this is denoted by X star star. Okay, and we can identify X with a subspace of X double star. Note that subspace, not equal to, it is a, we can identify X with a subspace of X double star. For identifying X with a subspace of X double star, what we have to do? Here we are defining a map from X to X double star such that that map is a linear map. Also it is one-to-one. Okay. So before that we have to, for X belongs to X, we have to find some some element in X double star. So the elements of X double star is actually linear functional on X double star. Okay, linear functional on linear functional on X star. Now linear functional on X star means we can define a function from X star to some K or R field such that that function become linear. Okay. Now for X belongs to X, we are considering I of X belongs to X double star. That is, we can define I from X to X double star as X goes to I of X, and I of X must be an element of X double star. Okay, so F belongs to X star. What is the meaning of that? F is a linear functional from X to some R. Here we are taking R. So I of X belongs to X double star. What is the meaning of that? I of X is a function from X star to R. Clear? So I of X is a function from X star to R. Now what about X star? X star consists of linear functional. Okay, and I of X belongs to X double star implies I of X is a linear functional on X star. Okay, so here we have to define I of X of F. Okay, we have to know, we have to define what is this. Okay. So for X belongs to X, we are defining I of X from X star to R as R or in field as I of X of F is equal to F of X. F belongs to X star, therefore F of X clearly belongs to R. Okay. So here we are defining I of X of F is equal to F of X. Now we are going to prove this I of X is a linear. Okay. Then only this I of X belongs to X double star. Okay. So I of X of, you take some points F and G. Okay. Some C F comma G. Some C F plus G is equal to, this is equal to C F plus G of X. And this is equal to Cf of X plus G of X using linearity property of F and G, and this is equal to C into F of X plus G of X, and this C F of X you can write C I X of F, okay, plus, sorry, okay, plus I X of G. Therefore, this is also some T of Cf plus G is equal to C C into TF plus TG. This implies I of x is linear. Okay. Now we have to prove I of x is a bounded. Okay. We get I of x is a linear function. Now we have to prove I of x is bounded. So for proving f of x is bounded, what we have to prove? Mod f of x is less than or equal to some c into norm of x. For proving f is bounded, we have to prove this. Okay. So for proving I of x is bounded, we have to prove mod I of x f. This is our function. Is less than or equal to some c into norm of f. This is what we have to prove. Okay. Now, what is modulus of I of x of f? By definition, this is equal to mod f of x. Okay. And this is less than or equal to, but the definition, this is less than or equal to norm of f into norm of x. Thus we get mod I of x of f is less than or equal to norm of x into norm of f. Now what about x? X belongs to x star. Okay. Therefore clearly this is a real number. Okay. And clearly this is less than infinity. Therefore we can say I of x is a bounded linear functional. Okay, I of x less than or equal to some c into norm of x. This implies I of x is a bounded linear function. Thus we get I of x is a bounded linear functional on x star. That means I of x belongs to x double star. Bounded linear functional on x means f belongs to x star. Bounded linear functional on x star implies I of x belongs to x double star. Okay. Now we are considering the map I from x to x double star such that x goes to I of x. Now we are going to prove this I is a linear map. Okay. For this you take some x comma y belongs to x. Okay. Now what is I of x plus y? This is same as I of x plus, okay. Now we have to prove that I of x plus y equal to I of x plus I of y. This is what we have to prove. Okay. For this you take some f belongs to x star. I of x is a map on x star. F is equal to f of x plus y. As f is linear, this is equal to f of x plus f of y, and this is equal to I of x f plus I of y f, and this is equal to I of x plus I of y f. For any f belongs to x star, this holds. This implies I of x plus y is equal to I of x plus I of y. Okay. Cx. Now we are going to prove C I of x. For this, for any f belongs to x star, I Cx of f is equal to f of Cx, that's equal to C f of x, and that's equal to C I x of f, and that's equal to C I x of f. Thus we get I Cx, sorry, Cx of f is equal to C I x of f, and this is true for every f belongs to x star. This implies I Cx is equal to C I x. Okay, this implies our, okay, Thus we get I of x plus y equal to I of x plus I of y. Also we get I of cx equal to c into I of x. This implies our map I is a linear map from x to x double star. Now we are going to prove this map is 1 to 1. Okay. Let x comma y belongs to x be such that I of x equal to I of y. Now what is the meaning of that? I of x, clearly I of x is a function. Okay, I of x is a linear function. Therefore, some functions equal means I of x of f is equal to I of y of f for every f belongs to x star. Okay, and this implies f of x equal to f of y for every f belongs to x star. This implies x equal to y. Now f of x equal to f of y for every f belongs to x star implies x equal to y. By y we have a result. Let x1 x2 be such that suppose x not equal to y, then I think corollary 3.1.4. There exists a linear functional f such that f of x not equal to f of y. But for every f belongs to x star, we have f of x equal to f of y. Therefore, x must be equal to y. Thus, we get I of x equal to I of y implies x equal to y. Therefore, the map I from x to x double star is linear. Also, it is 1 to 1. Okay. Therefore, we can identify x with a subspace of x double star. Therefore, we can identify x with a subspace of x double star. 1 to 1 means for any x you will get a some I of x belongs to x double star. Okay. And this is also linear. Therefore, if you consider the map I from x to I of x, then clearly this map is 1 1 and on 2 linear. That means they are isomorphic. That means x is isomorphic to I of x, and clearly this is a subspace of x double star. Therefore, x is actually we can identify x with a subspace of x double star. Suppose this map, this I is onto. There may be cases that such that this map is onto. In that case, we can say that x is reflexive. The space x is reflexive. Therefore, the space x is reflexive if there exists a function I from x to x double star that is 1 to 1. That map is linear 1 to 1 and on to. Okay. Therefore, if I of x equal to x double star, then we call x is a reflexive space. Okay. Now we are going to prove this map I from x to x star defined by I of x goes to I of x. This map is an isometry. Now we have to prove this map is an isometry. So for proving some t from E to F is an isometry, it is enough to prove that norm of Tx, okay, under F is equal to norm of x. This is what we have to prove. To prove T is an isometry into. So our map I is a map from x to x double star. So we have to prove a norm of actually I of x. Here I am marking x star is equal to norm of x under x. Okay. So we have mod f of x is less than or equal to norm of f into norm of x. Okay. Therefore, I of x of f modulus of this is equal to mod f of x, and this is less than or equal to norm of f into norm of x. Okay. And from this I x f is less than or equal to norm of f into norm of x, This implies, if you consider supremum of f not equal to 0, norm of I of x of f divided by norm of f, this is same, this is less than or equal to norm of x, and this is actually supremum of f not equal to 0 mod f of x by norm of f, and this is less than or equal to norm of x. Okay, now what is this value? Supremum of f not equal to 0, supremum of f not equal to 0, I of x of f divided by norm of f. This is actually same as ix norm of ix. We have norm of f is equal to supremum of x not equal to 0 mod f of x by norm of x. Similarly, norm of I of x equal to supremum of f not equal to 0 modulus of ix of f divided by norm of f. Okay, and clearly this is less than or equal to norm of x. This implies I of x star is less than or equal to norm of x. Okay. Okay, now we have I of x is equal to this one, and which is equal to this one, and this is less than or equal to norm of x. This what we have proved, norm of I of x is less than or equal to norm of x. So, but we have a result, if x naught belongs to x, any x naught belongs to x, there exists a f naught belongs to x star minus 0 such that f naught of x naught equal to this one. That means for every x belongs to x, this means for every x belongs to x, there exists a f not equal to 0 such that f of x by norm of f is equal to norm of x. We have this result. Okay, we have this result. That is, this supremum is attained. Okay, there exists some function f of x by norm of f, f of x by norm of f is equal to norm of x. There exists a, for every x belongs to x, there exists a f not equal to 0 such that f of x by norm of f is equal to norm of x. Okay, now what about supremum of f not equal to 0 mod f of x by norm of x? And clearly this is actually same as maximum of f not equal to 0 mod f of x by norm of x. Here this supremum value is less than or equal to norm of x. Okay, therefore all values is less than or equal to norm of x. But we have, there exists some f belongs to x such that this value equal to norm of x. Okay, there exists some f such that this value is equal to norm of x. So supremum of this value is clearly equal to, and this is equal to norm of x. Oh, this value is less than or equal to norm of x. For some f, this value is equal to norm of x. Therefore, supremum of this value is equal to norm of x. This implies norm of I of x is equal to norm of x. This implies this I is an isometry into. Okay. Now moving to next section, examples of dual space. We have already discussed linear functional on C0. Okay. For any x belongs to C0, suppose x is equal to some AI, we fix some b equal to bi in L1, and we have defined f of x is equal to sigma ai bi. Now in C0 the norm is sup norm. Okay, that means norm of x is equal to supremum or maximum. Maximum of mod AI. Okay, and what about B? B is in L1. L1 with 1 norm. Okay, so what about norm B1? And this is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to sigma mod BI. This is 1 norm. Okay, also we have by Rees representation theorem, we have for any f belongs to there exists a y, and here for f we can identify this with this B. Okay, and by Rees representation theorem, norm of f is the same as norm of y. Norm of phi is same as norm of y. Okay, therefore f is same as norm of B. Here L1 norm. Here L1 norm. Okay, now what about mod f of x? Mod f of x is equal to modulus of sigma ai bi, and this is less than or equal to sigma mod ai bi, and which is equal to sigma mod ai bi, and this is equal to, this is less than or equal to sigma, this is, you can replace mod ai by maximum mod ai bi, and this is equal to maximum of mod ai sigma mod bi, and the maximum of mod ai is norm of x into norm of b in L1, norm of x in C norm. Okay, thus we get modulus of f of x is less than or equal to norm of x C naught and norm of b L1, and this is same as mod f of x is less than or equal to norm of x C naught, and norm b is same as norm of f, norm of here L1. Okay, and here mod f of x is less than or equal to this one, and if you consider norm of f C naught, and this is equal to supremum of modulus of f of x such that norm of x equal to 1. Okay, and clearly this value is less than or equal to, taking supremum on both sides we get norm of f L1. Thus we get norm of f C naught is less than or equal to norm of f L1. Okay, today we have discussed the definition of reflexive space. Also we have discussed some examples of dual space. The dual of C naught is L1. Okay, in the next class we will discuss the dual of LP is equal to LQ. Okay.